Welcome to Chasing Dragonflies. Join us as we explore the glorious chaos of chasing life, only to discover the God of the universe is chasing us. I'm your host, Jane Foster, triplet mom and fellow sojourner in the land of motherhood. Hi, friends. Thank you for tuning in today to Chasing Dragonflies. Here's part 2 of my conversation with Karye Boyer.
Just letting kids be kids and just normalizing that everybody has tricky feelings and we don't ever do them alone. And so those types of things have come into my home because I want my own personal children to be very securely attached. I want them to be secure and not just in who they are. That will work itself out, but with their mama and daddy. Oh, I
Right.
remember having a conversation with my husband when I think we were just married. Okay, so we've been almost married for 14 years. And we were talking about this the other day that we want to be the type of parents that when our children do a boneheaded thing, when
It
this
will
happens,
happen.
of course,
100%.
of course, when it happens, little big or like really big, like I go into my room and cry big, you know what I'm saying? I want my kids to say, let's call mom and dad. I want them to say that. I do not want them to say, don't call mom and dad.
Right.
Okay. And so Darren and I try to parent with that always in the forefront of our mind, not to make our kids give them what they want, because I can assure you that is not what happens, but that they trust us, that they know that they don't do tricky feelings alone, and that mom and dad, um, I won't rescue them. My husband won't rescue them, but we'll walk with them and we'll remind them that we love them, and we'll remind them that we're going to hold hands as we go, right? And so that's kind of what when you capture children's heart in the pure intent, your intention is to hold them and to pray for them and to guide them and to shepherd them and to love them really well, the best you can, even if that looks like going and repairing
Right.
what you said or what you didn't do or what you did and you didn't mean to do, or you came up to them in a funky foul mood. I mean, who hasn't done that? Or
We all do it.
yeah, grumpy, or you're on your phone or doing work, whatever. I just always want them to know that they're mine, and that because they're mine, I just love them. I just can't help loving them. I ask my kids almost every single night when they were under 7. I ask them every night, "Why does Mama love you?" And of course, at the beginning, they're like, "Why, Mom?" Now they're like, "Because we're yours, Mama. Because we're yours." And I'm like, "Yep." No, I remember myself as a young teacher, and I was very reactive. I mean, as you're learning to deal with any people, your first maybe natural instinct is to react, 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 because you're just trying to, especially when you're in charge of people, you just want to make sure everything is going to go according to the plan, right? But I quickly learned that if I will actually just be in control of myself and set up structures and systems that benefit everybody, including
Right.
myself, but them too, I don't have to be so on everything. Does that make sense? Because people are going to
Sure.
be people, and I can love that person even if they are telling me that they don't want to be here, or if that they don't like me, or they think I'm mean, or whatever. Fill in the blank. Listen, I taught 6th grade, so they've got some real descriptors there.
You've
But
heard a lot of adjectives, I'm sure, about.
true. It's true. But I just made a decision, a conscious decision, a long time ago, that I just choose not to be offended at that, because we all need adults in our life, even as an adult, that will champion us and that will just be willing up to be gracious again, even when we don't deserve it, right? Merciful, even when we've done it 20 times. Again, we're not enabling. There's a difference between when we enable a child, but mercy looks different,
It
because
does.
when you are applying mercy, you're always looking at what the result is, not the immediate instant gratification in a child. You want to know, or you're thinking through, did that um, reform the child's mind? Did that renew the child's value? Did that did the child plug in and really like make it his own or her own? Um, that's mercy.
I want to switch gears because I want to make sure that we get to uh, shaking the bar. And I connected with you probably the strongest in a moment where it's that awkward transition in life from elementary to, and districts call it different things. You know, in Mansfield, we go from elementary to intermediate, then to middle school, but all over the country, it's going to be chopped up in different ways, but
Sure.
it's a pivotal transitional moment. It's the tween
Yeah,
period of time.
absolutely.
Uh, I'm fully into teenagers now, young
Yeah, you are.
teens, but
Yeah,
which is it's his own story entirely.
right.
But uh, I have found even with little kids, the transitions are the hardest.
Sure.
Uh, just as you feel like you got your groove, you know what's going on, we're starting to coast, uh, we can take our feet off the pedals and go downhill, something changes. And it can be a new developmental stage or a new classroom, a new teacher, a new year, a new skill, and you feel like you are treading water again, just trying to get your footing and figure out, okay, how do I respond in this moment? And for me, goodness, that tween transition was pretty dramatic. And you told me a story about shaking the bar one day that just blew me away. And once I could stop and remember that, it completely changed my outlook, my experience, and even just my emotions about the transition. Would you share that with our listeners?
Absolutely. I tried to Google and deep dive the man that I heard this from, but unfortunately, I can't find him because this was a decade ago. It's been a
To
minute.
give proper credit on
Yeah,
this
oh
story?
man, I wish 10 years ago Karye would have written the man's name down because this is not an original idea, but it's one of those ideas that when he expressed it, the teacher heart at the time, because I didn't have children, oh man, it was like a clamp and it clamped down onto that, was like lock. I'm going to remember that. Because what you're saying, every parent goes through. I don't care who you are. I don't care how many years of experience in a classroom you've had, right? This is a new land. Um, like you said, their bodies are changing physically. So you have a physical component. The brain development that was offline is now coming online. And that whole booting system, which takes 3 years, is whoa, mama. You're like, do I know you? I do not know you. I mean, do you know me? What is happening? And then you have the pillar that is social needs that was not there. Everybody loved everybody. Everybody got along, I mean, relatively speaking. And now the social component is, I mean, it's everything, right?
Yes.
Do I belong? Where do I belong?
Where do
Um,
I fit?
where do I fit? Where are people, right? And then you also have the adolescence, the hormonies, as I like to call them, the hormones are coming online. Of course, each child are a different stage of that, right?
Right,
But they were not in the picture, and now they are oh so near the picture, right? And
right.
that these are all things that play into parts and components, and even the child themselves. They used to be able to do this easily, and now there's a struggle and there's a feeling connected to it, a deep, big, tricky feeling that they may have not ever realized that was there too, right? So you've got all this I mean, what is that called? A perfect storm, all the recipe for a perfect
Yes.
storm, right?
It's
Um,
complex.
it's very complex.
They're abducted by aliens. What in the
Yes.
world?
Does it go, did they go back to normal? That's the one that I've had so many parents ask me, does it get better? I'm like, yes. Because you're just trying to survive, like you said. And he was talking about that when his own children were in this stage, that he had a revelation from the Lord. Now, this man was a youth minister, so the youth was his, bag. It was his jam, right? And he was sharing this analogy, and this is the shaking the bar analogy that he shared, that meant so much to me at the time, and you as well. He said, imagine that you are coming up on and you're in the line for your very favorite roller coaster, and you have never ridden this roller coaster, but you want to, and you have waited to be tall enough, heavy enough, and safe enough to get onto this roller coaster. And you've been in the line for a long time, and you are just, waiting, and you're going up, you're stopping, you're going up, you're stopping, and you get up to where it's your turn, right? And the attendant or attendants tell you how to get on, and they tell you how to position your body. And then often either the bar comes up over your head, or the bar comes, when I was a child, we didn't have all those fancy, harness straps. You just held on and hope you didn't lose your sunglasses. um, the bar that was coming to the front,
At
and
your
it was reaching
legs.
across your waist. Yeah. And when you could usually hear some type of clicking, or, something that made a tick tick sound, right? When that bar was down. And when it comes up on you, they want it, tight and snug against you, right? And you, of course, shake that bar to make sure it's locked, right?
It's true.
And you, of course, if you're sitting next to someone that you love and care for, you shake their bar to make sure that it's locked and everything is fastened the way it should be. And then the people that are running the um, roller coaster, they usually, I remember this in Six Flags, they would run down and shake each bar, and then they'd come back and shake each bar, before they, of course, started the roller coaster, right? And everyone's like, getting excited, and you're tucking in your hat, making sure. I mean, I just remember this. You're just making sure nothing's going to fly out, and you ride the roller coaster, and it's everything that you wanted in 95% of the cases. And there are moments where, you're kind of like, get me off this thing, especially when you're going up and around, and you're just like, I don't like it. No way, I do like it. No, I don't like it. Right? You have all those
The
feelings,
back
and
and forth.
yes, and there's just joy, and there's fear, and I mean, you're just it's all over, right? Your nervous system is experiencing everything. And then, of course, you come back to where you started, and you usually come to a dramatic stop, right? Everybody lurches forward, and there's some people are even clapping because they're just like, awesome. And then the bar releases. And so the man was sharing this analogy, talking about children specifically in the tween years, to where they're not young, but they're not older. They're in that middle. And they they had they're the in between generation in that time. And he was talking about how when parents remember, like a roller coaster, that whoever's sitting in that seat, that bar has come down or down, they just want to know that they're safe, and that when the adventure begins, they are not going to die, and that they are not going to get hurt, and that everybody around them is going to be safe, and that they're going to be okay. Everyone's going to be okay. And that all the hopes that they had hoped about this age and bracket of time becoming to be, the older kid, but not the older kid, they kind of have the safety of the younger kid and the older kid around them. There is a safety to that. Um, they want to just know that they are safe, that they are emotionally safe, they're physically safe, and that also that they have a space. Like you said earlier, they belong. because that type of that age. And when parents, children will shake the bar, they will test you. And it's so quick and it's so easy to be so reactive to that, meaning like, well, how many times have I told you? And it can come off as almost shaming the child, because in the reality, you have probably said that, I don't know, 2,000 times, maybe more, right? Or the reality is that you have practiced this value that you've instilled in these children in your family every day since they were two. I mean, what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's kind of like, put your towel on the hook when you're done. Don't put it on the floor, on the carpet or whatever. Those little things. But when kids, in that age specifically, are doing these things that they've never done before, and it is stepping on your toes as the mom or the dad, right?
Yes.
Or it may just be like screaming at you in the face, right? And you're just like, um, remember that they're shaking the bar. They're on that roller coaster. Now, again, metaphorically speaking, and they just want to know that this ride that they're on that they can't control, and there's extreme highs and there's extreme lows, and
Yes.
there are parts where you want it to go on forever, and there are parts where you're like, and stop, right?
Yes.
They are just shaking that bar to make sure that they are not going to lose everything. They're going to make sure that they are not going to, um, it's not going to cost them everything to be on that ride. Does that make sense? And
Yes.
so they're going to shake the bar, and they're going to, it's a security thing. It's a safety thing. It's an attachment thing. It's, mom, are you who you are when I was 5 and you loved me like this? Will you love me when I'm not as easy to love? Now, they're not going to say it like that. Heavens
Right.
no. But that's what they're saying when they shake the bar. Or, do you delight in me like you used to delight in me when I was a little girl and I was twirling in my pretty dress and I was clean and I didn't make a mess and I wasn't emotionally needy, but I am now. And I can't even explain myself to you because all I'm feeling is my feelings and I don't know how to say it, but I can cry and scream and slam the door. Do you know what I'm saying? They're shaking
Right.
the bar. That's what they're doing. And so when we position our hearts in the memory and the metaphorically, the metaphor, analogy that they're shaking the bar, we come to them in a very, very different way. We're not the owner of the roller coaster. We're not even the attendants on the roller coaster. We're the person sitting next to them. We're the person that is saying, your bar is locked, buddy. Nothing is going to happen. I got you. I am so with you. I am your biggest fan. I've known you the best your whole life. I know who you are. When you forget, I'm going to remind you, not because you should do this and you would better know this better, but because I, I'm with you. You and me, we're together forever. Okay. And so that's the shaking the bar analogy. So it's just an encouragement I would share with my families at the time when I was teaching fourth, fifth, and sixth specifically, so that they, first of all, could take a deep breath and know it's not just them, right? Because you feel so isolated, or I do, when my child responds to me in a way
Yes.
where I'm like, what the what? Um, what is wrong with you? you know,
Yes.
you need more sleep, which sometimes it is a sleep thing, but um, to where then the child also knows, again, when you are consistent and you repeat over and over and over, they want you on the ride. And they may even tell you they don't, but they do. You know, they want to know that you're going to reassure them and you're going to give them permission to shake the bar. Now, that does not mean they get to be disrespectful. That doesn't mean they
Right.
get to treat you like trash. That doesn't mean that they don't have to practice self control and self discipline. And, but again, these are things that, I mean, you have to practice them over and over and over and over. And, I mean, even adults. I mean, don't we know adults that were like, you need to go back and practice that,
Yes.
right?
You need a
And
do-over in this stage.
you're just laying foundation. You're laying tracks. and you're riding the rails with them, and you're just reminding them, hey, again, shake the bar, baby. I'm not afraid of you shaking the bar. I got you. The kid is going to shake the bar. And if you don't address the shaking of the bar, it's going to get louder and louder and
Right.
a little bit more scarier or a little bit more
More
risky,
aggressive.
more aggressive, because they will demand an answer. They will demand it. And all children demand it. That's just kind of the cool thing about kids is they're always asking the questions and they want to know the answers. And so when they shake the bar, they're really just wanting you to reassure them. It's about love, mercy, and grace. And then they get to do it again, do over,
On repeat, on loop.
man on loop. And that is a grace there.
I love, love, love your description of all this because I think it's so hard not to just look at the offensive behavior in the moment that's off-putting to us and not just react to the behavior, respond to it, try and control it, try and put it back in a box because it's uncomfortable for us as well. And sometimes the timing is really bad for us. We're trying to go do the next thing, and somebody has a meltdown, and you're thinking, pull yourself together. We're trying to get out the door. It's never at a convenient time.
It's true.
To deal with all this. But I love your description because if we can pause ourselves and remember this is the thing under the thing and not to just react to what's in front of us, it gives us a whole new perspective on how to step forward next. Or when wisdom is hitting pause and coming back to it in a few minutes or a few hours,
that's exactly right.
Whatever that looks like, and then being able to pour into them in a way that answers those questions. So, Karye, thank you for sharing your wisdom today. And listeners, if you're like me, you're going to want to replay this and listen to it again and take notes and maybe even meditate on some of the things that Karye said that are just of great value to your family. So, Karye, thank you so much. Listeners, what's your wild? What's your place that you know that God is calling you to, that makes you feel alive, that makes you feel fully present and in using the gifts and talents that He made you to express in the world? Dig deep into that. I'm inspired by Karye's words today and just wanting to learn more from her and think about that in my own life, how that applies. Find something to celebrate today, listeners, and go rock the Casbah.